Hello guys, Crispy here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing the GeForce GTX 550 Ti in Valheim. And why the 550 Ti now? Well, it's because it's actually the minimum required GPU to play this game. They ask for a GeForce GTX 500 series or similar, and this is the lowest end GTX 500 series there is. There's actually no GTX 550, only the Ti version for some reason. But yeah, here we go. This is a Gigabyte OC model of this card. We're running it with the latest Nvidia drivers available for it, which are 391.35. Running it with a Ryzen 9 5900X and 32 gigs of RAM, so we're only testing the GPU here. No bottlenecks anywhere else in the system. And yeah, you'd think that we're probably playing, what, like at 4K resolution to get 12 FPS, but no, guys. This is actually at 1080p, low settings. So this is very underwhelming, a very bad start for the 550 Ti, but I think inside of the game it usually gets a little bit more frames, so let's see. This is also a 1GB model of the card, not that it matters because Valheim hardly utilizes any VRAM. It's not even maxing out our 1GB of it. Yeah, 20 FPS, well, I'll start by saying that at least it's a way better experience than with the GT 710, that's for sure. And you can actually play this game with 20 FPS or 20 to 30 frames. It's not too sluggish, you know, it's not a fast-paced game whatsoever. And the mouse movement still feels responsive even with 20-something frames per second. So there's no slowdowns or huge amounts of input lag. So I think you could play like this, but yeah, this is not really that good, you know. The minimum requirements are clearly for 720p gaming. Now, thinking about a GTX 550 Ti, you probably didn't really expect much coming from it because it's an old GPU. It's almost 11 years old at this point. But, you know, graphics like these should be easier to run, that's for sure. Even like a 1650 Super kind of struggled to stay above 60 FPS at high settings in 1080p resolution, and high settings doesn't make these textures beautiful. Anyways, as you can see, I am still kind of capable of killing some enemies here at the below 20 FPS actually. This is pretty bad. And here we are, 1280 by 720, everything still turned down to the lowest settings. And you know what? It's kind of close to a 30 FPS experience, so they aren't really wrong when they say that you require a GTX 500 series GPU to play this game as the minimum requirements, you know, because it is actually playable. If it wasn't for those frame time steps or spikes or whatever that is, it would be a smooth-ish and pretty playable experience in my opinion. But they clearly have a lot of optimizations to make still in this game because it runs like crap. Like, let's be honest here. The frame times are all over the place. It's not a good experience, and I wouldn't recommend the GTX 550 Ti for this game, or I wouldn't recommend you guys that have this GPU to play this title, or something similar to the minimum requirements, you know. So if you have a PC that's close to minimum requirements in this one, stay away from this because it's still not a good experience. Look at this. It barely hits 30 FPS and it stutters a lot, and it's not because of the VRAM limitation. We are not even hitting 1GB at the moment, and it's just because the game is broken, and there are some weird effects sometimes that make those frame time spikes, and I can't really put my finger on it. Whenever there's stormy weather, I know that with every lightning strike you get a huge stutter or frame time step like that, but right now nothing is happening and it's still very bad. Developers at least make it possible for us to lower the resolution from 720p. So avoid this one. I'm gonna test 800 by 600 as the last resolution. For that, you actually have to quit the game and change the Windows resolution to 800 by 600. and it will work now, okay? It will open the game at 800 by 600. So that's what you need to do for it to work like this. Yeah, it's not a pretty solution, and the developers could probably easily include 800 by 600 in the options here, but yeah, at the moment this is what you need to do to lower the resolution from 720p. Let's see if it becomes playable. 800 by 600 lowest settings. Right, so it seems like at this resolution it is now pretty decent. You know, it still has those weird frame time steps there in the graph, but I believe it is a much smoother experience, and you can still notice those steps. Obviously, they're very distracting, but they're not as bad as in 720p resolution. To be fair, the game still looks okay at 800 by 600 low settings because of its art style, as it is already pixelated. You know, even at 1080p resolution, it's still kind of sharp-ish at 800 by 600, especially if you disable that anti-aliasing setting. I think this is probably a playable experience for a lot of people as well. But yeah, those frame times just ruin the experience. If it was running like this, with like stable 30 plus FPS all of the time, without those spikes in the frame time graph, it would be a great experience. I will still say that the optimization is horrible, because you should be getting a lot more FPS with graphics like these and 800 by 600 resolution. Even with the 550 Ti, I will expect a 710 to run better than this. Really hope that they can fix that, because the game is awesome in terms of gameplay, and if you have a higher end rig, it should play okay. You'll still experience stutters, you'll still experience slowdowns here and there, but it will run alright. But yeah, I think I wouldn't recommend this game to anybody with a worse GPU than a 1050 Ti, basically, and certainly not with anything close to the minimum requirements. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys tomorrow with a GTA 5 video on an old GPU, so keep tuned in for that. I always love to take a look at older GPUs in GTA 5 and visit Jack and stuff. So yeah, I'll catch you guys then, and as always, love you all. Bye-bye.